And you are set.
All right, we're going to call this meeting of the Environmental Quality Commission. It's a special meeting of Thursday, June 17th, 2021. It is 6:34 in the evening. And I'd like to call our meeting to order, which is good. James, would you do the roll call?
I'm going to put that to Rob.
Commissioner Von Call,
Here.
Chairperson Foley,
Yes.
Commissioner Serio,
Here.
Commissioner Trombetta. Is Joe here?
He's here but muted.
Okay. Councilor Bedrejko.
He's
Yes,
here and muted.
everybody count the
Okay.
members.
Here.
And Councilor Minor.
Okay,
Not present at this time.
he's not here yet. Okay. Okay, super, thank you. Let's see what we have here. I would like to invite everybody to, in whatever way is most comfortable, to join us in the pledge of the allegiance to the flag.
Of the United States of
States
America.
of America, to the republic,
For which
stands
it stands,
one nation,
nation,
God,
under
indivisible, with liberty
with
and
liberty
justice.
and justice for all.
Thank you. Actually, thank you very much. Okie dokie. Let's see, where's my agenda? Okay, oops, nope, not here. All right, we have the April 8th, 2021 minutes. Oh God, should we do that? Okay. Has everybody had a chance to look these over?
Yes.
Okay.
I see a couple of typos.
Okay, please go ahead, Joyce. Where are they?
6A,
Okay,
town planner,
hold on.
2N.
6A. Okay, no, I don't have it open. Hold on a second. Because we have to make sure, Rob, make sure that you're putting 6A and the correction, so that will be written in our minutes tonight.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Joyce.
So planners needs a correction spelling of planner. And then C, first, second, third, fourth paragraph. I think it should read clerk would provide the chairperson with information.
Okay.
Just those two. Just those two.
Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you, Joyce. I appreciate you having that sharp eye. All right, so may I have a motion to accept the minutes with these corrections as present, or correct? With these corrections.
I'm making motion to accept the minutes with the corrections.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Karen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Joe? Joe, are you there?
Yeah, could you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Okay, you're gonna
Okay.
learn that mute button better. And do
Yes.
you approve?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, so we're all done. So we had a unanimous approval. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. But we didn't have a May meeting. So we don't have May minutes. And we're here in June, so we'll worry about June's minutes when we meet in July. Okay. Okay, let me see what else I have here. Okie dokies. Sorry, as I'm clicking. James, do we have anybody here with public participation?
No public with us this evening.
Thank you. All right, so we are now going to number 6, old business, A, sustainable CT. And actually, this is probably where, other than when we're going to talk about the great upcycling contest, there's some things we need to discuss. And one of it being the deadline of July 31st. And I want to be able to go to and get any input, whether it's here tonight, and I don't want to drag out the meeting, so we can do it afterwards, so we have a little more time to chat about it. But get you thinking, the July 31st date is not going to happen. And part of the reason it can't happen is there are 2 requirements. You can do any of the items on the big list of, to pick hundreds of items, but there are 2 items that are absolutely are required. And one of them being the attendance by 2 elected officials to the equity seminar. Now, Joyce, Karen, and I all took time off. We did that seminar. It was over several weeks. I think there was 3 actual meetings. Well, so far I have no one of the 18 elected officials who have attended. So therefore we cannot submit to get our award. The second thing is one of the items, whatever item we choose, has to have an equity applied to it. Now, when we apply equity to something, that means making it really large, getting a lot of people involved. And as most folks have told me about doing equity, is the fact that you need a good 6 to 8 to 10 months to do the equity thing, because you have to do, it's a really big project. So anyway, it's not something you're going to do in a weekend. You might do the event, but there's a lot of things that have to be taught, because we're going to be teaching not only staff have to learn it, but the public has to be involved. So when I look at the other equity projects, they're really big. So at that point, since we don't have that done, we are attempting to, but not meeting with cooperation. The next thing that was where the 2 items was the 2 people and the equity. That keeps us. But what keeps us is we don't have anywhere near the 200 points. Okay? And that's not a good thing. Now, I have worked at it, and all of you have worked at it, and we're nowhere near it. And part of it was that the environmental quality control has no bite. We can't do much. We can talk and send stuff, and we've all met with trying to get something accomplished. And because we're volunteers, no offense, that's kind of part of going, how come we can't hear about these things or get them done? Most towns have a real town employee that's in charge of this and does this or works on getting this award. And they use plenty of volunteers, but not to run the show. And that is where I think we had probably the biggest problem of assigning it to the commission, who can't really make anybody do anything. I mean, I complained a lot and I finally got things done, but babysitting different folks, and I'm not going to bring anybody's names up, but babysitting people to answer an email and get me a piece of paper that has the information on it is really tiresome. And I don't get paid to do that. So, I think getting the award is absolutely important since everybody around us has it. And I'm not one saying just because everybody has one, we should get it, but we are. Because being a sustainable Connecticut and receiving that award really talks about how we change the way that we think of running our town. And we think of it from a point of view of leadership, and that has to be managing our environment, and that's a really big subject. Managing our society that which lives in our town, and also looking at long-term sustainable development, and that being really going to the financial side of the aisle, because you can't do the society and the environment side and have long-term goals if they're not tied to some kind of financial program. So one of the things I want to tell the town council is, well, we tried our best. We can't, there's no way that we're going to be able to make this go really forward. We have no staff time. We have no resources given to us. So we have very little time that is afforded from staff people. Or do we have dollars set aside for the larger projects? And I don't mean putting on an event, because we have now secured that with the new budget that begins on July 1st. But we will be able to working to go forward. I lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys. We have to look about how we coordinate everyone. And we have to think about how our decision making is, and it's an equitable point of view, and one being accountable to things get done. And maybe in certain aspects, depending on our town, we need to maybe, and part of it is the equity. And if we're looking to try to get different people involved, we need to say, well, how do we get them involved? You just can't dismiss that they're not involved. So if somebody is working 2 jobs or is at home with children or a sick parent, how do you get them involved? If and what we did for an organization I was in, oh God, it'd be 25 years ago. We wanted to have younger moms and young parents. And so what we ended up doing is we supplied, for them to come to a meeting, we supplied them with, bring your child and she'll be in the next room with a babysitter. And it worked for a while. It really did. So we ended up getting some valuable information we would have never had we not invested in something that simple. Now, for most of us, if we look around at our commissions, we don't have a lot of equity. We don't represent what Newington is, and we need to do that. So, which we know is part of the Sustainable Connecticut. But anyway, I mean, I have nothing more to say other than I'll polish this up a little bit more, and hold on, and include any of your thoughts, because I think it is very crucial that Newington receive an equity and sustainable award, but we need more bite. So I've got to get that expressed, because it can't happen otherwise. If it takes me 10 emails to get one piece of paper from someone, I'm sorry, but I am not going to spend that amount of my free time and be nowhere near the goal, which was doable, even if I didn't get sick, because I had sent out quite a few emails and asked people that they get it back to me in May, unknown that I was going to go to the hospital, unknown. I did it in February, and I haven't heard from most of them. So,
Patty,
yes, ma'am. All right, so now
in other towns,
all right, hold on, Joyce. You'll be first. Let's keep, if we're going to go in a long discussion, I would like to take it someplace so I can take a lot better notes, a little bit easier. But please go ahead, Joyce. So, and because you've had a lot of
in other towns,
go.
in other towns, these equity or no, in other towns, these sustainable committees are not headed by volunteers. Is that true?
That is true. You have staff members who staffing employees of the particular municipality, and you have volunteers, like you and like me and like Karen and like Joe. Or
But
more.
they're under some sort of a direction from the town council or the mayor to be headed by a staff person, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
That's not how we were formed. We had the Environmental Quality Commission. So read the document. It says we are, and we were given a staff person as a liaison. Of course, that didn't work out really well. And we had a liaison who couldn't do the work and then left. And then we ended up with someone new who's only been working here maybe 6 months. So, but you have to go back to the original document. And that is how it was set up, that the Environmental Quality Commission was assigned the responsibility. So, but we didn't know more. We didn't know something at that time. And now we know more, and it is proven to be the same. So thank you for making sure we were clarified on that choice. Okay. Any other thoughts and I mean, I'm going to try to get on. And oh, I know, James, can you answer this question? How does one get a spot on the agenda for the town council meeting?
If you have an item that you're looking to place on there, send the request through to Keith and myself.
Okay, hold on,
Bring it up.
send request to Keith and James. Yep,
So I will address that with Keith. We'll meet with leadership. Our next meeting is on the 6th of July for setting the agenda for the 13th of July. We'll bring it up to leadership, and if they're amenable to adding it to the agenda at that time, it'll go on to the agenda.
okay, that's how it works. Okay, so, and when do you have to have the request for this July 6th for the 13th?
We should have it sometime before July 6th.
Okay, so,
I
Okay.
usually try to send out a draft agenda to leadership prior to the meeting, and we usually meet between 4 and 4:30 on those days.
okay. On the 6th,
Correct.
because the actual meeting is on the 13th.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. I just figured it's time to, we need the leadership to really be aware of this, because we need to go forward, but we need to have a better plan than we have currently. So I want to finish putting this together and then be able to bring it to them and go from there. Thank you. Okay. I knew I had that question in my head. So in looking at our deadline, it's just not going to be able to happen. A lot of things take time, and I'm not saying it doesn't, because we all have other things that we're working on, and so does every staff member. But somehow we need to find a more succinct method that these things can get done, and it doesn't run around 10 times to figure it out. So anybody else have any thoughts? And I will leave from my perspective, as I would ask each of you to think about this and leave it open till, let's say, July 1st. And by then, if I haven't heard anything more from anyone, I don't care if you want to send me an email, or you want to text me, or you want to just call me on the phone, which I kind of prefer at this moment. I'm hoping to feel a lot better to sit and do an email. You know, by the end of the month, I would hope I would feel a lot better. But if you have any points of view and want to have it pulled together, then I will send in a request right at that time to talk about it with the town council. And I think it's important to be at their meeting.
Just for record, Counselor Minor has arrived.
Welcome, Counselor Minor.
Good evening, Patty.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments at this time? And obviously I want, Gail, you raised your hand, oh wow.
Yeah, I'm just a little concerned Patty, that it's being spun a little bit, that the town doesn't give a damn about sustainability Connecticut. I just quickly opened the spreadsheet and I see we have actions that have already been completed. Maybe it's not in the form that the state is demanding, but there's many things that as a town we have done in terms of open space plan. We have LID requirements. We have in terms there's an item about taking one historical building and assessing it for future sustain. We have that in the facilities study that just was completed. We have invasive species on the conservation committee. We have there's talking about arts and culture, about the library promoting arts and culture stuff. They have a website. So I don't think it's really fair to say that we're doing this stuff, but maybe it's not in the way to report it to the state. But it's really not fair to give an impression that we're not, as a community, caring about this stuff.
But I appreciate that, Gail. That's if it's not done in this format, it doesn't count.
Right, but it's not fair to say that we're not doing things.
Oh, I'm not saying they're not doing it. I'm just saying we can't get people to do it according to this. Well, what you see up here on the screen, and it says pick any one of them, and you can do X, and you can actually go down a couple, James, because then it's a real item, like Gail was pointing out, and. We have, just a moment, you have this line item here that you see, each of them are numbered. And then you have to go in and go farther down and it shows you exactly what you need to present and put together and send up to the, obviously put it in the package that's going to go for judging. But if I can't get the information, you can't do anything. So I've been attempting to get this information and we can't get it. And that's where the bugaboo is. Okay, that's where I have run into difficulty and attempting to get, all right, if we do this, where is it? Well, the one
when I was working or not working, when I was talking initially with Craig Miner, and maybe things have changed because certainly they're now a lot of the equity things, which is being promoted through various, different commissions. It's not just this commission, it's being promoted everywhere. And many of us have had to go to trainings either through the industry or other committees or commissions. But prior to this, I thought when there was a presentation, and maybe Rob can answer this, that there are ways where if an action had already been taken, there were other ways to document it or present it, which was less rigid or less regimented than the way it's being prescribed now. Maybe you can correct me, Rob, I'm not sure.
I honestly don't know, Gail. The way that I've gone about this, my understanding is that it has to be in this format to be accepted by Sustainable CT.
But if it's already been done and implemented, because to me is if the action has already been done and we got there, but we didn't get there taking these particular steps, why can't we get credit for something that we've done? We recognized before this even came out that it was important, but we didn't use these, but we can't document that, 7 neighborhood meetings took place. We can't document that there was this whatever, but we have the outcome in place.
Because you need to follow what this says. Now, there are certain things that you get credit for past performance, okay? But you still have to submit all the documents, write it up with some proof that it was there or done or however. That's just it. So when I get certain things and I get a plain document, and then we have to write something up to say, okay, here's a simple one, which was the C-PACE. it took forever to get the document. I don't know if we ever found the original, but we found a photocopy of the CPACE agreement, which was with Green Bank, which is like 10 years old. And we get credit for that because we had signed up. And we get credit for the fact in the first time we signed up for that CPACE program, which has to do with financing for businesses and using the tax office. Instead of them borrowing money, the tax office would be able then to assign the cost of the project, and they would pay it on their taxes on well, it's a biannual basis here.
Right.
So we had one when it started, which and I can't remember off the top of my head, and I apologize, but about 10 years ago. And we got the second one in March, like this year. So, and we have to, and obviously there has to be certain, so the fact that we signed up 10 years ago, we get credit for that. We get credit for the two companies that are using it right now. And we don't get credit for the other items that have to do with the CPACE program, like telling people about it. We couldn't find it on the website, so we started to finally get some information on that and get that up there. But it takes a tremendous amount of time. And as a volunteer, hey, I was spending so far a year and a half at 10 hours a day, 10 hours a week. And I don't have points to, we haven't gotten enough points to show anything. So it's making it a little bit difficult because we can't seem to get the ball rolling. I'm not saying no one cares, but you can't decide to do something and say, oh, we'll just stick it in there, because you got to kind of have to do this. And most of the items here must be done in the current year you're applying, or the current 12-month period. So we have the 12-month period ending July, and I think the other one is ending in March. So it's not like you can't get it. You just have to look to the next one in March. And you have to do the two required items, which was the equity for one item, and the two elected officials going to the whichever. Yeah, here on participate in the equity training. So I mean, while the volunteers went, we're not the other things. And you don't see all the requirements under here. And then I did send, before I disappeared to the hospital, a adopted statement on equity. That was in, I think it was, I'd have to look up the date I sent it, but it was before I went to the thing and said, put this on the agenda, make it happen. As far as I know, it hasn't happened yet. And that's the 1.3, which is worth 15 points. And you didn't, I even gave you the equity statement that was by two other towns, which actually were identical, except for the name of the town and the date they adopted it. It's, you know, kind of thing. So these are things that I can push them out, but people have to give me back stuff. So, you know, when's the credit? The credit happens when we do it. So can we get to 200 points before the 31st? I know I don't have the ability to do that right now, unfortunately. I have barely about 2.5 hours of what I can work in a day. And I have to actually do some work as opposed to my volunteer efforts. So I'm just looking at, realistically, it's mid-June. And it literally requires somebody to work at it. If you want to make it by the 31st, somebody's got to work full-time at it and get people to do, but there's still two items that you can't submit that are required. And this is, James, this is the one that you have. Could you go to the last page? Is it possible? Because I think this is the one before. I don't know what date is. Hello?
What do you mean by the last page?
Of the thing on the screen.
You want to go down to the listing to show the changes?
Well, I don't know what page 32 is. Oh, okay, backwards.
That's page 32.
Nope, okay, back up. One item. Okay, stop a moment, please. Okay, what I don't, okay, it is here. All right, I just wanted to make sure this was probably the most recent one because they continue to update it, which the last one has to do with increasing awareness on homelessness. That was a brand new added an area that is that we have to do, and as you can well see. And I believe they had changed that, so you have to do it for 2022. So if you're submitting in 2022, you must include something on homelessness because it's a really wide and big topic. But thank you, James. We can go back to where we were. Okay. So Gail, no, I'm not saying that they're not. And if it sounded that way, well, I apologize. It's late in the day and I get a little cranky, but.
Like I said, I just don't want it being presented where the public is going to feel that the town of Newington doesn't give a damn about anything environmental, whatever, because we do. Everybody's stretched in resources, whatever. I think maybe, the person overseeing staff is the town manager, maybe, and the town planner actually, prior to Renata, was the one that kind of initiated and introduced this, whatever. Maybe it's worth a meeting between you, Renata, and Keith, and maybe the mayor or whatever, and just saying, are we serious about this for this year? And if we're not, then we're not. But personally, I don't see how it's going to get done before July.
Well, you can't because you can't attend the equity seminar. The equity, participate in equity training is not going to happen. So that's not going to get to happen before July 31st because they're only offered about 4 or 5 times a year. So the last one that was offered between now, well, back when I did this in March, February was one. That was the only one that would be included in this thing because they only do about 3 or 4 of them a year.
And I believe 3 or 4 of the counselors did. I don't know whether you sent this out to Board of Ed or not, but certainly
yes, I did. Yes,
okay.
I did.
But 3 or 4 of the counselors, including myself, responded that, quite frankly, I'm not going to take a day and a half out from work to do. I don't have the vacation time. I don't have the luxury of doing that. Some of this, it's not that we're being stoic and refusing to participate, but that's, a normal workshop is like half a day, 4 hours. This is a pretty significant time commitment for somebody who's working.
I know, I took time off and I went, so I know how much that took, but it was something I thought was very important for me to understand what this was about because equity was really important here. So,
it was that long. I think it was only 2 hours. I think it was three training sessions, and I think it was 2 hours each session. So it wasn't that long.
Well, for me, that's taking, if it's 3 sessions on 3 different days, it's taking 3 half days from work.
It's only 2 hours.
The way my schedule is, I can't, I take half a day or a day.
Right. Everybody has their own way of having to deal with and has to deal within the confines of where they're employed. And I perfectly understand, but there are people who could have or would have, but somebody needed to step forward and nobody could. And how much am I supposed to do?
No, exactly, Patty. And you're put in a very precarious situation in the first place, even if you were at 100% health capacity, because it does seem to me that some of these requirements are very, very prescriptive, requiring a lot of documentation and a lot of research, whatever. And no, you can't, I think, the way you've been chartering it so far, trying to shoot a request here, a request here, a request here, a request here, that perhaps the town man, I really think a sit down needs to be done and say, are we serious about this or not? And if we are, then this is what I'm going to need. And if we're not, well, fine, environmental quality will go on to something else. But I think a sit down has to be.
I think that is a wonderful suggestion. Okay, we'll sit down. Wait a minute, just can't kind of do and talk. Sit down with town manager. And what else did you say, Gail?
Renata.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, either myself or Beth or somebody from the town council. It doesn't have to be the whole town council. And I don't know who else, but because this should be a pretty open dialogue, so we don't want to make. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Gail, you had mentioned the mayor as well.
Right.
Oh, that would be Beth.
That would be Beth. Right.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, it's
And I don't know, does the superintendent of schools need to, it seemed like there were activities in there that involved students and, I don't know if it's. Sure, but.
Yeah, the superintendent, okay, SOS of the school district, yes, they are not exempt, they must participate. So there are items here, has to do with facilities, or it has to do with different items, and well, it has, let's say it hasn't worked yet, and going after, because what I did was went through the 30 some odd pages here and looked for the low-hanging fruit. And when it takes a week and a half to 2 weeks to get something on one item and we get a couple points, it's a long way to think that we're going to do. And I'm sorry, but at the point where I'm at, 10 hours a week to put to this for an entire year, and we didn't get to the really good stuff. So anyway, we can stare at this all we want, but when you look at certain things, it's not one item. You have to do, in the case we're looking at 4.4, Arts and Culture Program. Well, you got to do 1, 2, 3, 4 items. All 4 items have to be done. So some of these things are compounded with several steps, and other ones are just one line, one item. So like I said, we tried to find things that were low-hanging fruit that I was at least aware of that we did, and go from there. But no, Gail, I'm not saying that town doesn't care. It's just that we don't have the mechanism in which to do this properly. And the towns around us, the Weathersfield pulled off a silver, which is 400 points, their first application. Hartford, New Britain, Farmington, so all the towns around us. And I want to be sure that we get in there and we're not the town that doesn't have it done. But it requires a whole bunch of different thinking about how we go about running and doing things. Because you have to include, like I said, not only, you're not thinking about garbage. That's an item. You're thinking about the bigger picture and the society. Excuse me, sorry.
Well, I think in your conversation with, the people we indicated,
Yeah.
it said, okay, you've been involved in this for like over a year, whatever. It's our modus operandi is not working. What can we do to change to make it work? You've tried, you've given the effort, we've showed it, and it's just not working. The current structure isn't working, and how can we make it work? What's needed? And that's going to have to come, from you and the committee, the commission. So
Me and the committee. Okay. Well, I kind of lined it up. We
Yeah.
don't have the bite to do it. And we're just volunteers and we don't have, I mean, and I, again, will not use names, but I have people I've asked stuff for that I have to go back and ask. I have other individuals here in town who think this is a cutesy feel good thing and ignore it. And I'm usually very good about saying, okay, I need this back on this date. Can you get it to me by then? And I give you 2 weeks, most folks, a week to 2 weeks to answer that. And it might be that it's 8 weeks from now, but at least giving you the opportunity to tell me, well, no, I can't do it. And okay, well, we'll put that aside for right now. Let me go on to something else. And if I can't get that communication at that very basic level of saying yay or nay, that's what we have to work at. Because then I don't know if that's a viable item that we're going to get 5 points, 10 points, whatever it might be. Because, so I will, I think a little sit down and I will send that out to them tomorrow and say, this is what we need.
Yep.
Because this is not going to work. Every single town is not run by their application for this award is not run by a volunteer. It's run by a paid person who is hired to or had their time cut away or parceled out and saying you're going to put this many hours in every week and you're going to work on this project. So and that was one of the people I worked with was West Hartford. And she goes, I don't know how you're going to get it done. But because she goes, I spend 20 hours a week on it. And then we got our award. But it took a lot of, she was also a staff person and she worked with other staff people and whatever the case may be. But anyway, all right. So just, I will still leave this open for another week or so. If you have a thought or a comment, please let me know. Because I am thinking this is so important to do. Maybe I'm, just, I don't know. I have nothing more to say.
I wanted to add something if I could. This is Karen.
Yes, Karen, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that since Renata started with us, I think that she has been very helpful as well. And obviously Rob as well. So we definitely have some staff, but obviously you're running it and working, at us as volunteers are doing what we can, but obviously it's limited. So I just wanted to thank them, first of all, for everything that they have been doing. And obviously will continue to do. And I do appreciate that. And I definitely, if there's something I can do with the meeting that you have, Patty, if you want some support, just let me know.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I appreciate everything that you've done so far to this point.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of low-hanging fruit, but if no one will answer, I can't do anything about it because I do not have the ability to get to that data, to get to the document. Because that's not available. So it's very hard to be able to do that and get the background and the history and all the good stuff. But anyway, Karen, thank you. Any other thoughts by anybody? All right, let's move on. Okay, wait a minute. Now I got, thank you. Oh yeah, I had a couple. This thing keeps deciding to go to full screen. Sorry. I just wanted to pull this up so we can record it in our minutes. Okay, for the Facebook page, Think Before You Talk, we have 122 likes with 127 people following.
Good.
Yep, that's actually you. In the last couple months, I'm glad to see we've gotten a few more people. And in the group page, Keep Newington Litter Free, I think we had something like 123. I know some of those people are on both sides, but that's still it's slow, but getting the things out. Okay. Now we're going to hear our piece de resistance from Commissioner Bonko on the upcycling contest. Please take it away.
Well, overall, I would say I was very pleased with the contest. The online application form and link worked flawlessly. Thank you, James. People had no problems sending over the application or their photos. I received a total of 14 upcycling contest entries, 13 in the personal/family division and 1 in the business/nonprofit division.
Okay.
2 judges have returned their contest score sheets. I'm still waiting for the 3rd judge to get that sheet over to me. And you may recall 2 $100 gift certificates will be awarded. In addition, I plan to present everyone who entered a thank you for your participation certificate. I can't find a place to have an awards ceremony for the upcycling contest, so I will have to go to my plan B, which is number 1, each participant will get a thank you for participating certificate, which they can pick up at the town hall. I'll notify each participant via email. 2, the winners will get a winner certificate, which they can pick up at the town hall along with their $100 gift card. And 3, I'll write a press release announcing the winners of the upcycling contest. That's my report.
So Joyce, you had sent me through an email and we had to wait to figure out where we were going with allowing anybody to come in for meetings. So if you do want to still hold it as an in-person, we could utilize the council chambers for that event if you're still planning it for the 21st.
Oh, great.
So we can make sure that
So-
set up.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, great. Does the council chamber have a room number?
It is room number 103. Their location to park in would be the police department, town hall parking lot. It's directly between the both of us. So they wouldn't go up
Okay.
Mazzicoli Way, but they'd come in through that furthest northerly entrance. It'll say town hall above it.
In other words, the parking lot by the police station.
No, there is one down by the police station. It has its own entrance now. That was how you used to get into the old town hall. There's now one in between there that has an entrance point almost aligned with the crosswalk for the park.
Okay.
So you'd utilize that center parking lot. You can't miss it. It's brand spanking new.
Okay, so then scratch plan B, we're back to plan A. And there will be an award ceremony. And June
Joyce,
21st,
what time, Joyce?
June 21st at 7 p.m.
That's next week.
That's next Monday.
Oh. Okay.
Well, that was one of
think-
the reasons I was going to ask that question, because you indicated you still had some judges that were not returning their information yet. I want to make sure that you'll have time for that.
The results were supposed to be in by the 14th. Today is the 17th. If I don't have it by tomorrow. I'll just have to tally from the two judges that did submit their count. But now I'm thinking the 21st, that's Monday. Today's Thursday.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to change that. I think we're gonna have to change that date.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you, James, for availability of that room,
Okay.
okay? But great, I'm glad that problem is solved.
Yeah, I can tell you the 24th will not work. That is already scheduled in that room.
Okay,
I think you need to, may I? Joyce? Oh, I don't
yeah,
know. Oh, okay, I'm there. All right, I'm sorry. Just one question is, 24th. Yeah, you want to give folks a little bit of time so they could actually attend. Can you give them a week's notice? You want to be sure they can get folks to come in, obviously.
I
But-
agree. I
Okay,
agree.
as
And
soon as-
the
go ahead.
other thing that would be nice is, I have the PDF files showing each of the 14 projects. And I was wondering if I could request James to print them off in color if I sent over the PDF file.
How large do you need them in?
8.5 by 11,
8.5 by 11? Okay. And you have how many entries?
14.
Yep, we should be able to do that for you.
Great. Okay.
You already have them scanned, or do we need to do that for it as well?
Well, I have the PDF files, so I was just going to send them over by email.
Okay, I'll actually send you a request form. You can upload them to our FTP server so we can take the larger documents through. I'll send you through an invite and just upload them directly to it. It'll walk you through.
Okay. Okay.
Joyce, do you
That
mind?
way, that way, everybody who entered can see all the other contest entries. And obviously we'll have the two winners and their PDF files. But this way, everybody will be able to see all the entries. And I think that will be nice.
I think that's very thoughtful, and it allows other people to see the types of things, because when it comes to upcycling, no matter what it is, changing it into something more useful, which is what we're supposed to be about, I think it's great. And congratulations, Joyce, that was tremendous. I did see Gail.
I would like to,
Joyce, hold on.
Gail,
Gail had her hand up.
No, that was a leftover from before.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
Okay, thank you.
I have, Gail and Karen were both judges. The other judge is not on our commission, so it's not relevant that anything we say, I mean, he's not going to hear it. But anyway, I'd like to hear from Gail and Karen as to what they thought about the entries. They were two of the judges.
I loved being able to view all the different options, and I liked the scoring that you developed so that it was 3 different categories and a 1 to 5 category, and then adding them up. I thought that was an extremely fair way to make an assessment, and each of the 3 categories were very well defined. I think that maybe you want to share that with the rest of the group as well, if you haven't already. And I was impressed. There was simpler projects, like a vase, for example, and very complex, like a bookcase. So it was very, very creative ideas. I did enjoy doing the judging.
Yeah, I like your idea of giving something to everybody who participated, because again, first of all, it's the first year. And it always, first year is always, I think, the toughest. But it did show, some of the projects, I had seen before on different, Facebook pages or whatever. And but that's fine because we weren't asking for originality. We were asking for actual upcycling, use of upcycling. And then, I'm not going to say the one that I thought was the best, but one of them just like kind of blew me away. And I thought, wow, this truly is a transformation of what, what could have been thrown away or, in the garbage. So I thought, I'm really pleased that each entry, I'm just very happy that people took the time and to come out. And I truly wish there was a way to display the projects themselves, like in the library or something, but obviously you can't do that with a bookshelf for, some of the bigger projects. But I thought for year one, it was a good start. And I hope that we can maybe I was even thinking, when you're talking about option B, if there was a way we can, depending on who the winners are, if we could go to the individuals, residents, if they would have let us, and photograph them near their project while you were handing them their, prize. But I guess that's not going to be able to happen now. But I thought overall, I thought it was a good success for year one. And I think we learned some things for year two, and see where we go from there.
Of course, all the people at this meeting, all the people on this commission will get an invitation to attend the award ceremony. So I'll get in touch with James and we'll work on the exact date. And yeah, I think people need at least a week to 10 days notification about the award ceremony.
And I like those ideas, Gail, as well, for enhancements, perhaps for the future. And for the smaller items, you may want to invite the individuals to bring the item with them to the award ceremony if they're able to attend, even if they're not the winner, just to share. And I certainly will take pictures.
Oh, great.
Joyce, I have a caveat, maybe just to write for next year. Is Gail, you brought up, I don't know, it was you or Gail brought up the library. Yeah, you can put, what do you call it? The stuff in there, but you got to give them the date of which you're going to have the items. And you can then be able to, as long as they know they have to be ready hangable, we could probably put them in the library, but we'd have to reserve that time in the, because they have what do you call it, an artist in their community room that's usually there. But if we're going to be somewhere in the June neighborhood, we might be able to get the time right there and be able to hang them up. It opens up bigger possibilities.
Well, if the problem is some of these projects were very large. I mean, you're talking big, like 4 feet by 8 feet type of thing.
Okay.
So if it's a little thing like a vase, yeah. Or one of the projects was boots that were turned into, what was it? Planters, I think it was.
Right, planters. So
something little like that. Oh, sure, that could be carried into the library, but something like a humongous desk or whatever, that's not all that doable.
Well, you know what?
That's why the the PDF files showing the before, during, and after photos will show. I mean, they'll show it shows the final product. Yeah. Doesn't tell the whole story. It's the raw material at the very beginning, the raw material, the work in progress, and then the final product is what tells the whole story.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe, for next year, I know we can't do it this year, but in the past, the Environmental Quality Commission has had a booth at the extravaganza. because we've had different areas we were concentrating on. And, you know, the pictures can be blown up, you know, obviously not this year, but to plan for the future, to maybe, you know, have that on display at a booth at either that or the Waterfall Festival. And then one other thing I learned, and I'm not sure how accurate this is, but I was talking to somebody about the contest, and they indicated that one of the, I don't know if it's the science classes or something at the high school, they actually do a project on upcycling every year, and they have their students do upcycling. So perhaps next year we can maybe do the project a little earlier, or, you know, get in touch with whoever this, I don't know, we can talk to somebody in the school system, and get in touch with the environmental sciences person who does this as a project, and we'll get more student entries, and we could have another category.
Thank you, Gail. That's a great idea.
Yeah, maybe a third category student.
Joyce,
Yeah.
those PDFs that you're providing, are they just the final project, or do they have all the stages?
Each of the PDFs has 3 photos,
Okay.
before, during, and after.
Okay, so we could post that on our town sustainable CT page as
Yes.
well.
Yes,
Yep.
you could.
Yep.
We can add those in for it as
Yep.
well. We can print out the ones for the ceremony, but we'll get those put onto the page for you guys, so at least people can go there.
Sounds like a plan.
But we don't tell anybody who won yet.
Of course not.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Just in case. I just want to be sure. But Joyce, are you about anything else?
No, that's it.
Well, I got to give you yeoman's work in getting this in a program, and actually the foundation of, like, for next year or to do it again. However, the foundation of working through the bits and pieces, some of the nasty stuff that makes up how do you get to something that looks flawlessly to the public. So great work, super job, fantastic. And I look forward to hearing about the date, and depending on what it is, whether or not I can get transportation, and I hope that I could be there.
Okay.
Okay. Now we go to Commissioner Serio about the condo letter. Why don't you get us updated, Karen?
Sure. There's 40 different condo complexes in our community. And in April, I was able to communicate a reminder for recycling to the condo associations. I was able to connect with 33 in April, and then several of them were kicked back to me as inaccurate emails. I was able to do some investigation and get all of them just on my own. There was some typos and things of that nature. So the other 7 I sent the email to in May. So they've all been communicated to, and my phone number and email, of course, is there, and I have heard from no one. I am also in a condo association, and I have not gotten any message from my association. So our goal, of course, was to remind the association of the recycling for their community, and also perhaps pass it on to their members for the summer newsletter or emails that they might do to their members, which, again, it doesn't appear that has gone anywhere. And of course, I have not received any calls.
But the fact is, you've got in touch with all 40.
Yes, and I will, after.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I will send an email. Rob, you were very helpful with making sure I had all those all those documents. So I will forward you my edits so that hopefully who uses it in the future at least has the current for 2021. As a condo resident, they change quite frequently. So the condo association, you have a contract for a period of time. So it could be a contract for a year and then you change. So unfortunately, they do change quite frequently. But the number of residents, the number of families is 2653. So 2,600 homes. So that's definitely a chunk of our community.
That's nice, because that represents quite a few people. Because that, you're saying there's 2,600 condominium units.
Correct.
Wow,
Units, yes.
wow. That's yeah, it's a slice of our, again, this is part of where we're looking at who our community is and how do they, not everybody lives in a single family house. Some of
I
us,
have a,
go
I
ahead,
have a question for Karen.
go ahead.
Karen, when you say no one responded to you, what kind of response were you expecting?
You're right, Joyce. I wasn't necessarily expecting a response, but I did leave my phone number should anybody have any questions or additional information. The other piece that I know did not happen is, Patty, you probably didn't get an email and I did not get an email. We are both members of a condos in town, and we did request that they also pass along the reminder information to their residents that are part of their association.
Okay, now that I know that, Karen, I will be seeing the president probably tomorrow or on Saturday on the weekend, and I will ask her if she received it. So if it went to her, then it may get actually out to people, but I'm going to find out if our president actually got it, as opposed to did it only go to the manager, and then the manager would have to bring it to the whatever, like you, like me, we all have association meetings. And of course, sometimes in the summer, they don't happen as often, but it's a good start. Again, cleaned up lots of, I wouldn't say errors, but older information, got it so that it works. And now we have an opportunity to now maybe to look now forward to the year and say, what should we make them aware of? Okay, and if we can do that, that would be fine. And there's always something you can tell them about and add a little value. So a great job. The fact that you got through and got that all cleaned up, that's fabulous.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I keep kind of bouncing off. My back is starting to hurt, and I don't want you to see me continue to wince, but let's go on. Thank you so much. I am so pleased with both of this happening. Okay, so we all know there's still positions open on commissions. And now that I'm back in, I can dig out my papers I had before. So we'll submit something to have them change the two that were in industry, and maybe get them to be just open seats, which would be helpful, because we'll never fill the industry seats. And whatever, and as defined what they were back long ago, doesn't really apply any longer for us today, and how the town has evolved to the various other areas that are now taking care of that. So we'll move from there. That's all I have on that. Letter F. Girl Scout troop. I haven't had a chance since I got home. I've only been home a couple weeks to follow up to see how they're doing. So as soon as I know, I'll let you know. And we'll go to G. All right. Karen, maybe you can help remind me, because I'm a little slow coming up to speed and trying to get there. The in September, you told me there was something that had to do, Earth Day, I know was in April, but we have something coming up as a celebration in September?
Yes, in October, it's
Okay.
Energy Month. October is Energy Month.
Okay, Energy Month. Cool. Okay.
And the theme for 2021 Earth Day was Restore Our Earth, which we certainly could still keep the same theme with Energy Month if we chose.
Thank you. I just couldn't find my notes. All right, that's perfect. So we have an opportunity, and it could be something we could discuss in July, but we could, when we did the poster contest, or I should say we, the group before did the poster contest, they sent a letter which explained the rules and what to do. And the posters, it went to Newington Public Schools. It was 1 through, or kindergarten through 8th grade, I believe. For some reason, it never included the high school, and I don't know why, but that's not here nor there. We could actually do something, be all psyched up, done. It's a matter of change the name of the contest, change the dates required, and it's ready to go. And then we have to make a decision. Are we going to do real posters, that is, have them turn in an actual physical poster, or send in a picture of the poster? When the COVID hit, we didn't get posters, obviously, but we did it all electronically. So people sent, the moms, of course, sent in pictures of their kids' item. We put them all up. Some of you worked and actually went online and picked the one you liked the best in each group, and we were kind of done. So we could talk about that off of this and get some. That's a good idea or not a good idea, but it's just something that we could do. We have the foundation set up to do it totally electronically, or we can go back to the get the paper, the actual physical ones in. And I believe Gail could, Gail, were you one of the judges on that?
Yeah, the first ones, the first two before this commission. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we have,
yeah, the first step though is you gotta, contact the, out of courtesy and obviously out of, just common sense, the superintendent of schools, and just say that this is what you're proposing and ask if, because Dr. Collins and then the interim, I forget what her name was, were very, very helpful.
In Maraca.
Maraca, right?
okay, that's good. Thank you, Gail. So that's all I have. Any knee-jerk ideas about it? Okay, let's move on.
Oh, well, one thing, I just want to say that we had been talking about, that we were talking about as the school poster contest got a little, we wanted to do something different. We were actually going to either change it to an essay contest or else have the possibility of, a limited word essay contest for those who don't feel that, artistically created, but yet are still passionate. So it might be something you want to consider as well.
Okay, would you repeat it for me? So I'm gonna write it down. You said an essay contest?
Yeah, with, not a, 7-page term paper, whatever, but we were going to offer the option of an essay on the topic so that those who didn't feel artistically inclined could participate, or also, this was also thought that maybe, some of the high school kids would.
Oh, for the high school, okay. So you can have a group, we'd have 2 classes then, a high school group that could be an essay contest, or a high school group that would do a poster.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, or you can, oh, essays for everybody, but it was just something that, just to mix it up a little bit.
Okay,
Maybe a middle school and high school essay, for example. I like that idea.
okay, all right, good.
And then also, it would take it out of the hands of, because I think it was kind of assigned, well, in the upper grades to art classes. And this way it could be like an English class or a science class assignment too as well.
Very good. All right, this is good. I will put some more notes together and do a little outline so you can all be refreshed how we ran the one in the first half of COVID-19. How's that? All right. Letter H. Mr. Hillman.
Yeah, so we've had the mattress container, recycling container at the landfill for 4 weeks. And we've had it emptied once. It does contain, when packed properly, it contains anywhere between 40 and 50 mattresses. So we had it emptied once after 2 weeks, and it's just about half full now. So I anticipate we'll have it emptied again after this weekend, and then move forward. It's actually been going a little bit better than I thought it would go. I didn't think that the residents would be receptive to bringing it to the landfill when it's still currently free. But they have, and it's working out well. I have not gotten a report from them. They do send monthly reports. So when I get a report from them, I will give you guys the numbers at the next meeting.
Okay, when you say report from them,
The Mattress Recycling Coalition.
thank you. Okay. But if I bring my mattress to the transfer station, that's for free and it gets recycled.
That is correct.
But if I call you on, not you, but call the town on the phone, the proper phone number, okay, whatever, and they come to my house, I pay to have it removed
Correct, and it does not get recycled.
and it's not recycled, okay, because that's the key point here, is that we can actually get this bulk piece recycled that we could never do up until just recently.
That is correct.
Thank you.
You bet.
Any-
Congratulations on the success of that. That's wonderful, Rob. Thank you.
Yes, it's been a long time coming. We finally got it implemented, and it's like I said, it's going much better than I had anticipated.
I am surprised that in 4 weeks you got 50 mattresses, plus or minus.
That was in the first 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So yeah, in the first month, I anticipate somewhere around 80. I would hope between 70 and 80 in the first month.
All right, then when you finally get your numbers, I think one of those news alerts would be a great time to let everybody know how successful and how responsible they are to the earth. That might be a cool thing to send out, one of those alerts. And we
Yep.
could, yeah, because it's like really good news, and good
Mhm.
news is, because right now there's not a lot of good news about bulk pickup. So I'm
I have
just,
a question.
go ahead.
Rob, how did you get the word out to the public?
It's on our website, and I posted a news flash, and it's we have information at the transfer station itself.
And then we also have social media that took it live.
Yes, and thank you, Patty.
Yeah, you bet. I made sure that it was hard to get things done, but not fun being away. But we keep sending it out. We're going to send out, I'll send it out again on mattress recycling, because this time now it's recycled as opposed to being garbage.
Correct.
Yeah. So and right now it's a hot topic is bulk pickup, and it's been going on for 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been fun, but it's not that I've quieted the conversation, but well, why don't we know? I said, well, it was at a town council meeting. Okay, that conversation went quiet. And then, when they find out that they need to be a little more involved, then they can find out about more and more things. So that we hopefully will bring forward a couple people.
Mhm.
But the last 2 weeks, there's been quite a bit of chit chat about. Oh, and I was going to ask you. Oh, yes. Somebody asked me, so God forbid they didn't call you, but the pink bag people that do the textiles, have we heard from them?
No, I have not, to be quite honest with you. They had anticipated beginning collections again. And you know what, to be quite honest with you, Patty, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm going to follow up on that.
Would you follow up and get back to me
Sure.
either way? Because
Yep.
we could plan. There are people who are hungry, who have been saving textiles up. So I told them that they could go to, and this one woman couldn't stop thanking me like half the night. Then I told her she could go outside the senior center for 24/7 and on Saturday and Sunday at the transfer station has the same box. She was the happiest woman in Newington that night.
Thank you.
Because she had so much she wanted. She had been saving it all winter.
Yep.
But I've had a couple people ask about the pink bag people and whether that is a viable situation. I know we have a contract, but I don't know where they're at yet.
Yeah, I can find that out. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.
Recycling.
That would be really excited. And then obviously we could hit all the avenues of now that they're back open or not open, and we'll have some news. All right. Do we have anything more?
That company was Simple Recycling.
Yes.
Yes.
Recycling. Thank you. And if they are going to start, Rob, would you make a note in your thing about this when you talk to them? If they are going to make sure that one, you have extra bags, but that the library does, because they kept them right at the front desk.
Yeah, I still have.
Okay.
Yeah, I still have some, so I can bring them there if they need them, if need be.
Okay, perfect. Okay, because that was a big deal, and it worked out well because they're open longer than you are in the afternoon and evening, and obviously on the weekend. Okay.
Patty, Counselor Minor has his hand raised.
Oh, Mr. Minor, I'm sorry, but you know what? There you are. I'm sure you were on.
Not a problem. Real quick, Rob, are you familiar? I believe is it blue composting?
Yeah, what about them?
Are you familiar with how their practices or what they do, how they do it?
Yep. They're fantastic.
I reached out to them once and the conversation didn't really go anywhere.
No.
But there is a fee involved, and they pick up their I believe they're 5-gallon pails.
Yeah.
They pick them up on a weekly basis, and they turn it into compost. And those that are subscribers to the program, I believe every year or every couple months, in turn get I don't know how much, a couple pounds, maybe 5-10 pounds of compost in return.
Right.
There is a monthly fee. They do it a couple different ways. There's monthly fees, semi-annually, annually, depending on what program you want to sign up for.
Right. You can sign up weekly. You can sign up every 2 weeks. You can sign up monthly.
Yeah.
It depends on what you have. I had a wonderful conversation with them, and yes, there's a fee, but now that fee that they charge, I know, is not the $100 we're probably being charged for garbage. But I'm just guessing. And the question would be, how is it rolled out? There's a few towns that have started to roll out not just Blue Recycling, but other companies around. And we need to get some more insight on that, because if I do it, but the 12 houses around me don't do it. Okay, so what's the most equitable way to institute and to be able to handle that type of item? I will be attending next week a seminar on, oh, I forget the name of it right now. That's what happens. But it is all about some of it has to do with the food recycling. So I may have some really good information from a whole bunch of towns. So I'm getting that from Sustainable Connecticut. It's a lunchtime thing, but anyway, Blue Recycling has a great program.
And there's no cost to the town, correct?
Well, it
No,
depends.
this,
on how
this,
it's planned.
it's a subscriber service, so a resident, it's not through the town, it's each individual would reach out to Blue Earth and make their own agreement with them.
Okay.
So
I
that's
think what
It's a
Hartford
private
did,
company.
right, but I think what West Hartford did was actually try to publicly promote it
that is
with
correct.
their Environmental Quality Commission, I think is how it happened, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Chris, do you know if people would bring their compost to a central spot in the town?
Well, that's a different theory that I don't know if that's even offered, Rob, but it's really not a bad idea, I guess. I mean, the whole
Yeah.
idea is not to get it into the waste stream. It's just weight that is not serving a purpose.
Well,
Right.
the town of Bristol does have a place where you bring your compostable materials and drop it off. So so no one's coming to the house and picking it up. You bring it in and you put it in, and that then is carved right out of the garbage. And
Okay.
uh,
Yeah, the
they
reason
do-
I was inquiring on them is I see them all over West Hartford on a regular basis.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Chris. Let's see. Well, we went from mattresses into that. So we're all set to, I'll hear from you, Rob, at some point when you get simple recycling, the pink bag people. We get
Yep.
some idea when they're going to get started so we can let people know.
I certainly will.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, it's time. Yeah. Mr. Jim, would you please roll that up a little? There we go. Do we have anything else we want to add under communications education on reducing, reusing, or recycling? Good. Go to the next item. Thank you, sir. Okay. Do we have anybody listening in?
We have one individual listening in. If they're interested, they can raise their hand by using *9 or the participants window. Doesn't appear we have an interest at this time.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for dialing in. We really appreciate it. And hopefully you'll continue to come to our meetings and get some more information. Next. I just wanted to go around to everyone, and if there's anything more, Karen, anything, Commissioner Stereo, anything more you would like to say?
I just wanted to make one point about the previous poster contest. You had mentioned that the moms sent them in. Well, I think there was definitely some dads in there too. So I just wanted to say that and wish the dads a happy Father's Day.
Well, how nice. Perfect. Commissioner Bonko.
Well, I'm looking forward. I have a agenda for the award ceremony, so I'm looking forward to that. And announcing the winners and doing a press release announcing the winners.
That is fabulous. Again, thank you for doing as much as you have. Fantastic. It could become a regular something as we learn to go for equity and sustainability. So thank you so very much. Commissioner Trombetta.
I think we're doing all we can during the pandemic, and I think we're on the right track for everything. And I think we should look forward to the next contest in October.
Okay, and great. And now I'd like to ask Counselor Draco, anything you'd like to give us some insight on?
No, but I just, again, I know Joyce really, because it was a one-woman show on this contest, and she did an awful lot of work, and I'm sure she's got the templates there so that we can carry it forward into the future. She deserves, credit for that, so.
Absolutely. And then Counselor Minor. Is she still here? Yeah. Anything else?
No, I'm all good for now. Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome. All right.
Oh, and we missed you, Patty. That's another thing.
Well, thanks. I missed you guys. I tell you, it was not fun when you have to lay on your back for what? I was gone 60, 70 days on my back. And I'm still on my back probably close to 18 hours a day. So, but guess what? I'm sitting up right now.
Good.
So thank you very much. Let's see. Anything else from anybody? And I think we're ready to close with staff. Oh, Mr. Hillman. I'm sorry.
No, I just want to reiterate what everyone else has said. Commissioner Bonko for her efforts with the upcycling contest. To have 11 entrants during these times, I think is fantastic, and I look forward to doing this, seeing it every year.
Excellent, excellent. And anyone else? I think we go to 11 and we adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Next meeting, okay, let's make the date, July 8th, 2021. And I'm gonna double check this. I had to type that, so I was like, did I type the right date on here? Yep. Is that correct, James?
That would be the second Thursday.
Second Thursday, okay, so July 8th at 8 p.m., July 8th, 6:30 p.m. And until we know differently, we'll be meeting on Zoom. So everybody stay tuned and we'll find out what happens. Okay, and then lastly, someone making a motion to adjourn.
I make a
Make
motion.
a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Joyce.
I second it.
Thank you, Joe. All in favor? Yay.
Aye.
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 You're not unanimously. Thank you very much, everyone.
Happy summer.
Yeah.
And have a great night.
Take
Good night.
care.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Oh, here I am. Okey dokey.